Hello everyone, hope you're all well. I wanted to continue on my Legend series. It's been a while since I put my Legend series, except Graham Thorpe, where he died. And I've been wanting to continue my Legend series because there are a lot of players who should have been or could have been in the top 100 legends as well. And I wanted to continue, and there have been some people asking me as well why I'm not continuing with my Legend series. Today, I wanted to post someone who is one of the greatest test captains I've ever seen in my life. Someone who was a positive captain, a courageous captain, and under his captaincy, Australia became the dominant force in test cricket in the mid 90s. I'm talking about Mark Anthony Taylor of Australia. He was born October 27th, 1964 in New South Wales, Australia. Another big player coming from New South Wales, and his nickname was Tubby. And he was also one of the greatest first slip fielders ever, and he had 157 catches when he retired, which was a record at that time. But Rahul Dravid holds the record for the most number of catches now. Taylor's captaincy was very positive, and I've never seen any other captain make more sporting declarations than Mark Taylor. Obviously, he had the luxury of Glenn McGrath and Shane Warne in his team. He did take over the captaincy from Alan Border, but under Mark Warre's captaincy, Australia won Test series for the first time in 22 years. A test actually in West Indies in '95, and also beating Pakistan in 1998. Home and away series win against a strong South African team as well. In all, Mark Taylor played 104 test matches, and he scored 7,525 runs at an average of 43.49, and he scored 19 hundreds, and his highest was 334 not out against Pakistan in 1998 at Peshawar, where he equaled Sir Don Bradman's record of Australia's highest score. But he refused to go past Sir Don Bradman's total, and he declared the innings when he was on 334 not out, which shows the character and integrity of Mark Taylor as a person as well. And in one-day internationals, he played 113 one-day matches, and he scored more than 3,500 runs as well. But Mark Taylor was definitely more of a test player than a one-day player. He in 1989, on the Ashes tour of England, when he started off, he scored 839 runs at an average of 83.9, and that was the second best aggregate in an Ashes series in England after Sir Don Bradman's 974 runs that came in 1930. And in 1989, Mark Taylor eventually scored 1,219 runs, and he became the first player to go past 1,000 test runs on his in test matches in his debut test calendar, which was an amazing achievement as well. And then he became Australia's opening man. He was a left-handed batsman, by the way, and he opened the batting from 1988 to 1999, and he had many partners like Michael Slate, David Boone. He opened with a lot of people. And Mark Taylor in 1994, again, the series against Pakistan on his debut, when he was a captain, he got out for a pair, which means he went out for a duck in the both innings. And that was the first time ever in cricket that a captain had got out for a pair on his debut. And by the way, they are talking about that Ashes series of '89 in that fifth test at Trent Bridge. Jeff Marsh and Mark Taylor became the first pair ever to bat through a whole day's play of Test cricket in England, and they scored more than 300 runs in that partnership as well, and that was a record. And in 1995, the tour of West Indies, the Caribbean tour, that is when Mark Taylor's captaincy and his stature as a captain really rose. Australia had never won a Test match in test series in West Indies in 22 years, and the first test match they won by 10 wickets at Barbados, Kensington Oval, which was a fortress for the West Indian team. I've said in that video of Alex Stewart that England did beat West Indies in Barbados as well. They were the first team in many years to beat West Indies in a test at Barbados, but Australia also beat them by 10 wickets at Barbados. and the second test was drawn, and the third test at Trinidad, which was a green pitch, Australia were beaten by West Indies in 3 days. But the fourth test at Jamaica, Australia won by an innings, and they finished the Test series win. And the last wicket was caught Taylor bowled Shane Warne, and they finished a famous Test series win in West Indies. And in 1998, and in Pakistan, that was also a pivotal moment in Mark Taylor's captaincy career. Australia had never won a Test series in 39 years, Test as well, 39 years in Pakistan. And the first Test at Rawalpindi, Australia won by an innings, and it was the first time they won in 39 years. And in the second Test at Peshawar, that is when Mark Taylor scored his highest 334 not out, and he refused to go past Sir Don Bradman's 334, and he declared the innings when he was on 334, which shows the true character of this man. And that match ended in a draw, and the third test was also a draw, and Australia eventually winning the Test series in Pakistan, which was a great achievement in those times as well. And there were also home and series test wins against South Africa in 97, 98, when Hansi Cronje was South Africa's captain. Alan Donald, ex-friend, South Africa and Australia were the top two test teams in that era, and there were famous wins as well. And there was a time when Mark Taylor was really out of form, and there was a time when he went 21 test innings without even scoring a 50, but he was still in the team obviously because of his captaincy as well, and eventually he did score 100 against England in the Ashes series. So that was a welcome 100 for Mark Taylor. And he was a very good batsman. I mean, a left-handed batsman. He was very good against spin and pace, and of both back foot and front foot, and leg side and on the offside. He was a very elegant player. When he played strokes, he really looked elegant, and he batted with a lot of ease. And even that Test series against South Africa, that Adelaide Test match, he scored, I think it was 150 or 160, but scored a big 100, which was a very crucial 100 in that Test series. That was also a draw, and Australia won the Test series 1-0 after their win in Sydney, where the first Test at Melbourne was a draw, where Jack Ellis scored his first 100. So that was also an important Test 100 from Mark Taylor. And Mark Taylor, Ian Healy and Shane Warne was an amazing combination. I mean, there are a lot of test dismissals recorded between those three, like either caught, stumped Healy, bowled Shane Warne, or caught Mark Taylor, bowled Shane Warne. Taylor was an amazing slip fielder, like I mentioned at the beginning. For slip fielder, he took a lot of brilliant catches, and his record 157 was a record at that time as well. And another thing about Mark Taylor, I mean, he was such a colorful, bubbly person, and he made a conscious effort to reduce the sledging of the Australian team. The Australian team 80s towards it were famous for sledging even after that. But during Mark Taylor's captaincy tenure, he really made a conscious effort to reduce the sledging, and Taylor wasn't one of those people who used to sledge. So that was a very big thing that Mark Taylor did. And he was such an, like I said in the beginning, he was such a positive captain, always courageous. I've never seen any other captain make some more sporting declarations than Mark Taylor did. He would take a chance and he would go for the win. He wasn't one of those captains who would make sure that you won't lose a test match and then try to win. He would declare, and he would give a chance to the opposition as well. So he would put a match on the line, and he would still go for the victory. And 9 out of 10 times he came on top. Obviously, he had great bowlers like Shane Warne and Glenn McGrath in his team, but it is under his captaincy that Australia became a dominant force in Test cricket. And he's also obviously a commentator in cricket now, and he has always been one of the most outspoken, honest commentators, and he was always a perfect gentleman. Always had a bubblegum in his mouth, really spoke very fast during his post-match interviews. And Mark Taylor is definitely one of the greatest cricket legends the game has seen, and definitely a great Australian legend. It is under his captaincy, I'm repeating, that Australia became a dominant force in Test cricket. He took over the captaincy from Alan Border, and then he gave it to Steve Waugh, and then obviously Ricky Ponting. So it all started with Mark Taylor's captaincy, and he was a brave, courageous captain, and a very good batsman as well, a typical opening batsman who had all the shots. He used to leave the ball well and played with ease and class. So that is my video on Mark Taylor, one of the greatest captains of all time. Thank you, everyone. Take care. God bless you.